In this video, we're going to talk about epithelial tissue cells. So first, let's look at an overview of these types of cells. So we can have squamous, cuboidal, or columnar cells. So these squamous cells, they're going to be very flat. They look squashed. So I think of squamous, squashed. And they're also going to have a flat nucleus here in the middle of the cell. Cuboidal cells, they're going to sometimes look like a cube, but not always. But what really gives them away is their round nucleus. So they might have the rounded corners, they might be turned in a certain way, but this round nucleus is going to be what gives them away. Columnar cells are going to be elongated here, and they're going to have an elongated nucleus. They're like a column. If we have simple is going to mean a single layer. So simple, single. So we're going to have simple squamous cells, and that's going to be just a single layer of squamous cells. Stratified is going to mean multiple layers. So if we have stratified cuboidal, we're going to have multiple layers of cuboidal cells. Pseudostratified means fake stratified. So pseudo means fake. So we're going to have fake stratified, and that's going to mean it looks like it's stratified, but it's actually just a single layer of cells. If we can have ciliated and non-ciliated cells, and cells that are ciliated have little hair-like things coming off of the end of them, and those are going to function to move mucus. So here we have a cell with cilia, and we can have a non-ciliated cell as well. So we have these ciliated cells, and these cilia are going to beat back and forth to move things like mucus. We can also have non-ciliated. Alright, so let's take a look at squamous cells. So if we have simple squamous cells, that's going to be a single layer, because remember, simple, single. So it's going to be a single layer of squamous cells. And these simple squamous cells are going to let materials pass through by simple diffusion. They are also going to secrete some lubricating substances. And you're going to find this simple squamous epithelium in the alveoli of the lungs, in blood vessels, and in a few other places. And right here we have a tissue slide. This is the alveoli. So there's this open space, and then there's the simple squamous epithelium right here. Each of these dark purple things is a nucleus. And we can see here is a cell, here's a cell, we have another cell here. We can see it's just a single layer. So that's going to let things like air pass through by simple diffusion. Stratified squamous epithelium is going to be multiple layers of squamous cells. And we can see that right here. Each of these dark purple dots is a nucleus. We can see these cells are kind of flat. And we can see it's multiple layers of these squashed cells. And these stratified squamous epithelium is going to protect against abrasion. So it's going to be found in areas of high contact. So places like the skin, the esophagus, and it's going to protect against abrasion because you can lose one layer. If you have something rubbing against the skin, you can lose a layer of cells up here, but there's still more layers down here. Cuboidal cells, so we can have simple cuboidal. That's going to be simple, single, so a single layer of cuboidal cells. And we can see that right here. And the function of simple cuboidal epithelium is going to be secretion and absorption. And because of that, you're going to find this simple cuboidal epithelium in small glands and in the kidney tubules. So we can see right here, these are cuboidal cells, and this round nucleus is what's going to give them away. And we can see the cells don't always look like a cube. You can see this one right here looks kind of funny. But this round nucleus is what gives the cell away. And we're often going to find cuboidal cells forming a ring. Stratified cuboidal epithelium is going to have multiple layers of cuboidal cells, and it's going to be found in protective tissue and in many glands. So we can see right here a tissue slide. This is a sweat gland, and we can see these multiple layers of cuboidal cells. And these round nuclei is what's going to give it away. So we have a cuboidal cell here, a cuboidal cell here, here, and so we can see these multiple layers. So it's stratified cuboidal epithelium. Alright, so now let's take a look at columnar epithelium. So we can have simple columnar epithelium, and this is going to be simple single, so a single layer of our columnar cells. And we can see that right here. And the function is going to be absorption and the secretion of mucus and enzymes. And we can have ciliated simple columnar and non-ciliated simple columnar. And remember, those cilia are those hair-like projections coming off of the cell. So the ciliated columnar epithelium is going to be found in places like the bronchioles of the lungs, and the non-ciliated is going to be found in places like the digestive tract. And we can see this slide right here. We have these single layers of these columnar cells, and we can see the elongated nucleus right here, and that's what gives it away as a columnar cell. We also have pseudostratified columnar, and remember, pseudostratified is fake stratified, so it looks like it is stratified, but it is actually a single layer of these columnar cells, and it looks like it is multiple layers. And the function of pseudostratified columnar epithelium is going to be the secretion of mucus, and we often find pseudostratified columnar epithelium in the respiratory tract. And you can see this tissue slide right here. We have all of these nuclei, and they are at various levels, so it looks like it is stratified. But each of these cells right here is actually touching this basement membrane down here. So this is actually a single layer of cells. Stratified columnar epithelium is going to be multiple layers of columnar cells. Its function is going to be secretion and protection, and you're often going to find stratified columnar epithelium in the urethra and the ducts of some glands. I was having trouble finding a picture of stratified columnar epithelium, but you're not really going to see it very much in your classes. It's pretty rare. And so what you really need to know is the simple columnar and the pseudostratified columnar. Ciliated columnar epithelium and non-ciliated columnar epithelium. So cilia, remember, are those hair-like extensions. You can see them right here coming off of the cell. And their function is they're going to beat back and forth to move substances like mucus, which is why we were finding that ciliated columnar epithelium in the respiratory tract, because it's going to move mucus away from the lungs. So we can see these cilia right here, and then this columnar epithelium right here is non-ciliated. It does not have cilia on it. Transitional epithelium is going to let organs stretch. We can see this transitional epithelium right here. And so you're going to find transitional epithelium in places like the bladder. So the bladder needs to be able to stretch and contract. And it's important to know where you find each of these cell types. And in the beginning, it can be pretty hard to look at a microscope and say, well, what type of cell is this? But if you know where the tissue slide is from, then that can help you figure out what type of cell it is. But to do that, you need to know where you find each type of cell.